Hobbing helical gears in 2 cuts non-differentially requires accurate knowledge of procedures. First, study the blueprint. The blueprint shows the OD of the gear, the number of teeth, normal diametral pitch, normal pressure angle, hand of gear, helix angle with axis, chordal addendum, chordal thickness, depth of tooth, backlash, and material. In addition, there is usually a job card. The information on this card has been worked out by the engineering department. Follow it carefully. The speed change gears are indicated as a 41-tooth driver on the B shaft and a 53-tooth driven gear. Mount these gears first. The feed combination includes an intermediate gear. The intermediate gear is necessary to maintain the correct direction of hob feed. An intermediate is also used with the index gears in order to rotate the work table in a clockwise direction. When the change gears have been set up, you are ready to check the hob. Examine the teeth for sharpness. The specifications show it is 9 pitch, 14.5 degree pressure angle, 2 degree and 20-minute lead angle, and left hand. As the hob is correct for the job, prepare to place it on the arbor. After mounting, indicate the hob for run-out. It must be true within 2 10,000ths. Stop the machine and set the indicator on the other side. The readings show the hob is true within the prescribed limit. After positioning the hob with the centering gauge, remove the pin and tighten the spindle bearing and end bearing straps. Remove the bracket. You are ready to adjust the swivel head. The job card shows that the angle to set the hob is 23 degrees, 42 minutes, 41 seconds. After tightening the swivel head, mount the fixture and make sure it runs true. With an adapter plate in place, clean and load the gear blanks. Mount as many blanks as the fixture will take. In this instance, 3. Complete the setup by tightening the fixture nut. Consult the blueprint to obtain the diameter of the gear blanks. 7 inches, 271 thousandths, plus nothing, minus 6 thousandths. Since only one blank will be used for size reference, mark the diameter of the top one. The reading shows it is 7 inches, 270 thousandths, 1 thousandth under the theoretical diameter. The next step is spotting the blank. Power traverse the hob slide until the middle of the hob is below the upper face of the top blank. Move the hob to within 1/4 of an inch of the periphery of the blank. Start hob and work rotation. In feed slowly and carefully. When the hob marks the gear blank lightly, count the impressions to be sure they correspond with the number of teeth called for on the blueprint. Use a pencil as an aid in counting. When the count is finished, stop the machine and set the micrometer collar to 0. This provides a reference for depth of cut. Back away the hob 1 turn. Then power traverse the slide until the hob is in starting position for the cut. Adjust the slide positioning plate. The positioning plate, properly set, will trip the power traverse at this point. Check the action of the plate. Now, infeed 3 full turns, one of which compensates for backing away. Turn it 39 thousandths more, making total depth for roughing cut 239 thousandths. According to the blueprint, the finished depth of tooth should be 250 thousandths. This, plus 4 thousandths for backlash allowance, leaves 15 thousandths for the finish cut. With the hob set for roughing depth, tighten the stanchion nuts and the overarm. Start the machine and move the hob down to the work. When the hob and work are in contact, engage the feed and lock the feed lever with the thumb screw. This prevents accidental disengaging of the feed with consequent loss of lead. The hobbing operation is now automatic until completion of the roughing cut. When the roughing cut is completed, stop the machine and set the lower trip dog. Before backing the hob away from the work, establish a new reference setting on the micrometer collar. With the overarm loosened and the stanchion unclamped, release the thumb screw, disengage the feed, and back the hob out of the gear 3 full turns. Power traverse the hob to a safe position above the work. Then set the upper traverse dog. Now, check the blueprint for chordal addendum and normal chordal thickness. The vernier gear tooth caliper to the indicated chordal thickness. Always check the vernier setting with a magnifying glass. Chordal thickness is 172 thousandths and 5/10 as required. Since the full depth of cut was not taken during roughing, the chordal addendum is not correct. Measure the tooth and adjust the caliper to the present addendum. The reading, 97 thousandths, indicates that 15 thousandths is still to be removed during finishing. Put the caliper away carefully and feed in 3 full turns to bring the micrometer collar back to the 0 reference point. In-feed 15 thousandths more to reach finish size. Since the gear is being hobbed non-differentially, the lead was lost when the feed was disengaged. Before taking the finish cut, the hob must be realigned with the roughed out teeth. Clean off the gears. Apply layout dye to the sides of the teeth in the top gear. After you have finished applying the dye, tighten the stanchion nuts. Clamp the overarm. Power traverse the hob close to the work. Start the machine. Because the lead has been lost, the hob teeth and the gear tooth spaces are considerably out of register. Disengage the starting lever and make sure the main switch is off. To bring the hob and gear into registration, the work table will have to be moved independently of the hob and feed mechanisms. To do this, remove an index change gear to disconnect the index train. Turning the index worm shaft rotates the work table slightly. Now try to register the hob teeth with the tooth spaces of the gear. Several adjustments may be required. Since the hob and gear are now in close registration, replace the index gear. Start the machine. Engage the feed lever and lock it with the thumb screw. Engage the starting lever. Permit cutting action to continue until the hob has fed down for about ½ inch. Because the hob is cutting on only one side of the gear teeth, the hob teeth are not central in the tooth spaces. To centralize, stop the cut and disengage the resetting clutch. Moving the hob vertically equalizes the cutting action. Engage the resetting clutch. Start the cut. The layout die shows that the cut is now equally distributed on both sides of the gear teeth. When hobbing differentially, these steps to register the hob and work are not necessary. An extra set of change gears prevents the loss of lead when the feed is disengaged. Let the machine run until the finishing cut is completed. When the bottom of the cut is reached, the trip dog automatically stops the machine. Measure a tooth. The caliper shows that chordal addendum is 112 thousandths and chordal thickness is 172 thousandths and 5/10, as indicated on the blueprint. The helical gears are completed. The hobbing machine is now set up to produce many gears to the same specifications. hob helical gears to close limits non-differentially, follow the job card specifications, spaces accurately for finishing. For fine adjustment, use the resetting clutch. Properly set up and used, precision machines like these produce precision gears.